Greetings, everyone. Wrecker here. Wrecker runs DC Universe Online. Coming at you today with 5 tips for new players to DC Universe Online. 5 things I think that'll make your experience easier and will get you going in the right directions. 5 things that are just about essential to helping you have a smooth experience of leveling your character and moving on up the ladder. The number one most important piece of advice I can give you for that is when you reach level 15, I believe it is, to do whatever in-game content is the current event, and to make sure that you do that every day. For right now, it's Bird of Prey Metropolis where you'll get those dailies. You can run a solo from there every day, and a 4-man one. By doing those, you'll receive gear that will progress your combat rating almost daily. The only time it wouldn't move your combat rating up if it gave you a piece of gear you already had, but even then it's going to move you up a little bit. So it's something that can move you up every day and can really help you. One of my league mates want me to tank for him. Let me tell him, yep. But again, it's very easy to go to. Just go to your map, go to warp, and it's be on everybody that plays the game, that BOP Metropolis. Whatever the in-game episode is right now, the latest episode, it'll always be on that warp menu, and it'll always give you gear that'll help you progress, and it'll give you source marks that you can spend on gear to move up, and it'll give you Lex coins or whatever that currency is per that episode that will give you gear that you can buy once you get to the required combat rating. For example, I was working on an alt, and when I got him to 287 combat rating, I was able to go and buy 4 pieces of gear straight from the vendor. He went from 287 to over 300 the first day. And it's just essential. It'll make it so much easier, and you don't have to worry about long queues or things like that, especially if you're a solo player that's just getting started and you don't know anyone. By going to the event every day, you're going to go to the most populated section of the game every day, and you'll be able to do your feats, do your missions there and get gear that will progress your character and progress your combat rating daily. So that's number one, is do the event version of the content every day. Once you hit the in-game combat rating, keep doing that content every day for your in-game marks and to move up and get the best gear you can so that you can be the best and strongest that your character can be. But just make sure you're doing that daily. I don't care unless what your combat rating is. Once you hit level 15, I believe it is, you need to make sure you're doing that every day, because that will make your transition in this game so much smoother, and there'll be so much more people to play with and so much easier to get things done that way. Now, after you do that every day, do that event version of the in-game content, you need to work on whatever mission you have that's up for you in your log that'll progress you. Whatever your current combat ratings CR is. If it's the Teen Titans, go do those Teen Titans dailies. If it's Metal Part 1, I'm in Starro Central City right now. So if it's this level, make sure you're doing these dailies every day. And as you're doing that, this is my number 2 tip, get all the feats possible as you're leveling your character up and doing your missions. When you're on the ship, getting off that ship, before you ever get off the Brainiac ship, when you're doing the first mission, bust every barrel that you can. There's literally feats just for busting barrels. Bust every explosive barrel, every health barrel. Those 2 barrels in particular, there's feats connected to some. Destroy every barrel you can. explore everywhere you can. There's tons of exploration feats. Do all those, and it's tedious, but when you're a new player, it's kind of fun for me because you get to explore this big sandbox world that you have. So I enjoyed that very much. But go to do all the explorations, do all the booster gold feats. Make sure you do all your solo feats as you're doing the missions, as you're leveling up your character before you even hit level 30. As you do each mission, you can look in your feat menus and look for the solo feats, and it'll tell you there's several feats connected up. So try to get all the feats that you can, all the feats possible as you go, all the hard knocks, all the explorations for the solos, duos that you can get. Those are ones that you can almost do on your own. Make sure you get all of those. It'll make your character so much stronger, and it'll make your skill points so much higher, which just makes your character a better asset to a group, helps you to stay in group, just makes the game more enjoyable. So try to get all the feat points that you can, number 2, as you go. Get all the feats you can, because feat points equal stat points. Stat points are permanent addition to your character that strengthens your character. Learn your role. That's my number 3. I'll tank, but I've also been a controller, and I know how to heal as well. You can get into a group so much faster. If you look in the LFG right now, need a tank, you'll need a healer, need a controller. Every once in a while, you see a DPS, but it's much more often that you see, I need a tank, need a controller, need a healer. Because those roles are important and are needed. They're called support roles for a reason, because they support the group. And you can just get in the group so much faster, and you learn the game so much better by learning your role. And there's really no excuse not to learn, even if you don't know anyone. For example, when I wanted to start tanking, even if I hadn't have known anyone that knew how to tank, there's just a plethora of information out there. Some of it's bad, don't get me wrong, but that's anything. But there's tons of good information out there of people that have how-to guides on how you can play your role for each of the 3 roles. The wood's full of DPSs. I mean, always have your DPS, but there's tons of DPSs. Don't make sure you can play your support role so that you can get in a group faster and help you advance your character. You can get feats, all those things. It makes you more valuable in the game. You're given a free armory. You can earn another one by using your loyalty points. I would encourage you to do that. The first armor you get is just kind of useless, because once you use it, you can't go back, because you've got to have 2 to be able to switch between your roles. I would encourage you to either spend the $5, I think it is, or save your loyalty points until you can get a second armory. That way you can swap between your roles. I encourage you to look up guides. Use those points, use that free armor and use those points so you can swap between your roles. Makes it so much easier to get into a group. Makes the game so much more enjoyable for me personally, being able to play both roles, because damage, it just comes natural with your character. But being able to play whatever your role specific, for me it's tank here. You can get in groups so much, and it's so much helpful for your league. Which takes me into my next one of my 5 points. Number 4, find a good league. There's tons of them out there. If you just sit and play the game, we're sitting here at the LFG. I guarantee if you sit there and pay attention to it, it's going to be like this league recruiting all rows. Some of them you got to have 500 skill points to join, but a lot of them are like my league, are helpful and want to teach, and we'll take the time to help you get feats. We do events daily. Well, right now we're doing 4 days a week, but my point is we do events every week to help advance and strengthen our league characters, no matter what. If it's the Bat Caves or if it's the Birds of Prey, Elite Raids, whatever level people are and whatever they need, we work on those every week. Find you a league that's like that, that's going to help you, that's going to teach you roles, that's going to help, that has events, that's active. It's so much easier. Right now we've got 5 folks on. If I wanted, I could shout, talk to them, get a group going. It's just easier when you got people to play with. Besides being in a league, you get buffed just by being in a league. I'll go to the league hall while I'm talking about the other things so that I can show you that. By just being in a league, though, you receive bonuses if your league is active enough to have them all up. Our league's active enough that we have all our buffs up, so just by being in the league, you get a 3% damage bonus, like a 3 to 5% might bonus. I can't remember the exact numbers, but you get big bonuses. Plus, we have literally one of our event days is Training Tuesdays, where we train each other, teach each other how to play roles for people that need it. And if no one needs that, then we work on feats that people need to help them advance their characters. But find a good league so that you can get those league buffs and you can learn how to play the game. It's so much more fun for me, the grind, because some feats you can do instantly just by exploring or by not using a consumable or a supercharge like a hard knock feat. Other feats, you've got to see each iconic there, and there's 20 iconics, for example, in this alert. So you've got to grind and run this alert over and over and over and over to get those feats. So it's a lot more fun and a lot easier when you have people working towards that same common goal, and that goal being to advance your character and have a good time. And it's so much easier when you have a good league and people to play with. And the fifth one, ignore negative behavior. Negative comments. So many times when I've been doing my job as a tank, I've been, oh, blame that damn tank, he's doing bad. Or I've been in groups where the healers are doing great, and they'll, oh, that daggum healer, because some DPS wants to stand too close to a boss and is getting his ass kicked up between his shoulders. He wants to blame the healer. Or you got some spamming controller or a healer that doesn't know how to heal, so he's just spamming every power he's got, and he's bitching at the controller because he doesn't have any power. Well, he's spamming his powers, and he's not using his weapon to regen any power. Always someone pointing that one finger out where they got 3 pointing back at them. So much negativity, just like in the real world, but just ignore those people. Unlike the real world, on this game, you have the ignore option. You just go to someone's name, click on them, and then you can add them to ignore. I'm not going to. That's my nephew. He's a good guy, and he's in my league. But you can add people to ignore. As you can see, I have a long ignore list. I don't know what the max is, but I've got a lot. If I see you cussing or being racist or just being a general dick, I'm putting you on ignore. Ignore negative behavior and negative people. Literally, use the ignore option in the game. It makes for so much more of a enjoyable experience. In the real world, there is no ignore. You have to deal with it. You don't have to deal with that crap on here. So enjoy yourself. Have a good time. Those are 5 tips that'll help you advance yourself in DC Universe Online. And I know these will work. You can go from on the ship to in-game combat rating by following these 5 steps. Do the in-game content event versions every day. Do those open world missions, whatever episode is featured in that event. Do that every day, and once you hit in-game combat rating, make sure you're doing that content every day so that you're getting marks to buy the gear, and then when you get to elite gear, so you can buy that. Secondly, as you're leveling your character, get all the feats you can possible. Destroy all the barrels, explore everywhere, get all those solos, those hard knocks, those speed feats, all that stuff. Get all the feats you possibly can, because those are permanent additions to your character that makes your character stronger and just makes it, that will make you a better addition to a group, make you where it's a whole lot better experience for you in the game when you're in addition to a group instead of holding one back. Find a good league. So much easier to have a good league. Oh yeah, while I was talking, I didn't show you. Here's what a good league looks like. For example, 3% damage bonus, 3% healing out, 3% more might precision, 1% more critical attack. All these are up and running, and there's 130 almost prestige waiting to be spent. So find yourself a good league that's got all the proficiencies up and running, that all it's going to do is boost your character just by being in that league. Besides the fact that you can, if you have a good league, if they have all of these proficiencies up, then they're probably good at teaching and helping their members advance. And that's so much more enjoyable and makes the game so much funner. More fun, excuse me. And last but not least, ignore negative behavior. You literally have an ignore option. Go to it and ignore it. If you don't like it, it's just like in real life. If you've got a turd, you don't hang on to it. You flush it down the toilet and you get rid of it when you go to the bathroom. You get rid of that bad. And you don't think about that turd. You don't worry about it anymore. It's gone. Flush it away. Let's ignore it. It's like a flush option. Flush them away. You don't have to worry about them anymore. Hope that helped you. If it does, like it. Share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel. If you don't like it, dislike it. Hit the not like button. Tell me why you don't. Give me a comment. Let me know. If you need help on the game, hit me up on the US PlayStation server. I'll sure help you. Thank you. God bless you and have a great evening.